There's just like times in life where you can go like full speed, and then there's times where you need to just like prioritize rest. All of your dreams and goals will still be waiting for you when you feel a bit better and you're in a better spot. Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. We are doing a mid-year reset in my writing routine, talking about how my writing goals for the first half of the year went and what I'm going to do differently for the second half of the year. It's July now. I have done a deep dive into how my writing has been going this year and also rewatched my goals video right here that I did back in December. What my plans were for the year, how much I wanted to write, what I wanted to accomplish, and how my number one goal was writing more in the year, and how I didn't really do any of those goals, and how I plan to kind of salvage the rest of the year to be more in line with my goals, but also more realistic for how 2025 has turned out. Let's get a fun drink and we will meet back and talk about how this year's been going, what we can do different. I'm switching to oat milk and like non-dairy drinks, and finding the correct coffee creamer has been so hard. So if you don't do dairy, let me know what your favorite coffee creamer is. This is the Oatly full fat like milk, not the creamer, and I think this is the best so far. I just do not like flavor. I do not like anything sweet. So we tried like the Elmhurst ones. My husband and I both went dairy free and he loves these. He loves the flavors. He likes pretty much everything about it. And I just love a good iced coffee, an iced latte, and I want my like creamer to feel like creamy and rich. I don't like it when it feels watery, and that's been my negative experience with the oat milk lattes or just oat milk in general. But this is pretty good. I could do this. So let's talk about my 2025 writing goals. This was a video that I made last year, and I planned to try to write more in 2025 than I did in 2024. In 2024, I wrote about 80,000 words, and in my current book, These Curse Stands Between Us, which is the one that I'm currently working on publishing, I had written maybe like 60,000 words in that story, and now I think I have the stats on how much I wrote. It's not good, guys. This has not been a very productive writing year, but I want to show you kind of like what I did. I did a little deep dive into how much I have been writing. Basically, I went into Scrivener and pulled up everything that I have been writing on the document that I made for my current book, and I can compare what I did in 2024 and what I did in 2025. So let's take a look just to like, you know, get the facts of how it's all going. So my entire project of like what we have done is this individual document in Scrivener I opened in 2024. Yeah, May 28th, 2024 is when I created this document. It's not when I first started working on this project, but it's when I first started writing in Scrivener. Scrivener just allows me to like see every single day that I worked on it, like how much I worked on it and what starting and ending like balances were. So it looks like for 2024, I wrote a total of 46,222 words in this Scrivener document. I'm sure I wrote more somewhere else, but like new words into this document were over 46,000. Here we are, 2025. We started the year off in January at 61,274, and then we got to, as of July 14th, 71,360 words. So I like basically wrote, it's literally just like 10,000 words. Not going so hot for the year. So if you try to like divide up 46,000 last year, if I was just keeping on par with this book, I should have been somewhere around 20 something at a minimum, 22, I don't know, like I should have at least double that. So when I look at the data, I have not been writing a lot in 2025. A lot has happened this year. Writing has not been the top priority. That's not what my goal was for 2025. So it really sucks, but I just decided to deep dive into why that happened and what I can do about it. The first half of the year is gone, and now we're in the second half of the year, and we're in quarter 3 of the year. We only have one more after this, but I am determined to make this year a success and to write a lot and to get books published or ready for publication. So we'll just start with my highs and my lows of this year so far, and then like why I haven't been writing. High of this year was going to my very first in-person writing conference. I went to HardyCon, which was a full day conference where we met in person with about maybe like 40 or 50 other people, and we worked on our author success strategy. That was the notebook that we got, and a lot of it was focused on author branding, basically career goals and very big picture things. And we spent the afternoon doing more specifics of marketing and launch plan strategies. So we kind of ran the whole concept of like looking at your career and deciding what you wanted it to be, and then creating a plan and getting to work in groups and talk about marketing things and different problems you're having and be able to brainstorm stuff like that with others. And it was awesome. That was day 1. And then the rest of the conference was called Writer MBA. It was, I think, a 3-day conference where you got to meet with vendors, you got to meet with very successful authors and people in the indie author business world and get to learn from them and be able to see like different options of things that you can do for your business and for your books. And it was so helpful, so helpful. And then in between all of those like workshops and stuff, there was a lot of time to socialize, and everyone was so helpful. Probably the biggest moments of change and things that were most helpful were conversations with authors, especially authors who are like 10, 15, 20 books in, who've been doing it for a while, who make a substantial amount of money, who make even just a part-time amount of money, like having those real world experiences versus somebody who has not published a book. It was an invaluable experience. It was so helpful. And that was in March. I did a whole vlog of like traveling to the event, going to the event, talking about some of my experience as it was happening. So you can check out this one if you want to hear more. That was in March, and that really, I guess, derailed a lot of my original plans for the year. I had to take like maybe like a whole month after that and just process what I learned and research things and continue going through this workbook, filling things out and just figuring out what I wanted to do. I spent so much time working on my author brand and establishing like a lot of like, what do I want all of my books to have in common and how do I do that? I also was given a lot of advice about a pen name. I used to use my personal name, and now the title of this channel is Sarah W. August, which is like a combination of my pen names, which is SW August is for my fantasy romance and any sort of fantasy writing that I do, and Sarah August will be my contemporary romance. So I just kind of did a combo because I wanted to have both on my YouTube channel. So I made those kind of changes, and I was given a lot of advice when talking about my fantasy romance series, and there was something that multiple authors that I met suggested I do structurally with the books and change kind of like what I was doing. I was doing something very odd structurally with the books, and I literally have no idea why I was doing that. And when we talked about this, it was heavily suggested that that would not be a good idea. But it definitely took like a lot of replotting and a lot of rethinking the worlds and how I was kind of weaving those stories together. But that definitely changed what my writing year looked like. It was a lot more preparing and plotting and brainstorming how to combine those stories into one. It's really thrown a loop in my schedule for the year of like releasing the book and all that. So that was my high. It was a wonderful thing. It really helped so much. And then I spent so much of the year working on like my author business things, like website, the pen name thing, getting my newsletter stuff ready, feedback, that kind of stuff. So it's like the behind the scenes things that all need to exist when the book comes out, but I didn't realize how much time all of this would take ahead of time. But once it's done, it's done. Like setting up my newsletter, once I decided, oh, I want a pen name, then it's like I can't set up a newsletter with my current name and then have this. So it's just all been kind of very interconnected and taking a lot longer than I thought. And that's fine. These are great things to have learned ahead of time from other people's experiences where they made mistakes. I'm getting like the benefits of not making those mistakes and just like starting off really great. It's just that it takes a lot of time to set up. So that was my high. My low of the year so far was I had a lot of health issues that kind of just derailed my progress. They kind of killed my energy and my creativity. I had a lot of brain fog, a lot of issues being able to think creatively. And then I added a lot more doctor's appointments this year, so my time kind of like got zapped up a little bit, and I've been having to like figure out new ways to like get writing in and to change that up and find small moments to get things done without having like big chunks of time or lots and lots of energy to write all the time. The health stuff just like really derailed a lot of my progress, which is frustrating, but it's just life, and I can still like achieve my goals even with these like setbacks in life. I just have to work around them and be more creative and like figure out how to do this even though there's issues. So besides the health and a lot of the like travel and the reworking my book that I learned at this conference, why do I feel like the first half of the year really went so poorly? So I rewatched this video and I realized I completely stopped tracking pretty much all of my progress. In this video, I talked about my process for like keeping my goals on track, and it was using Pacemaker Planner, like making an individual like word count goal and minimum goals, and doing things like using little gemstones to count my 250 word progress, breaking things down into bite-sized pieces like 250 words, and celebrating all the wins. I pretty much just completely stopped using all of it in 2025, and that is a huge reason why I don't have a lot done. I also stopped filming a lot of my writing sessions. I love filming my writing because I feel like it has kept me so motivated over the years to talk about it with you guys, to see your comments, to realize that other people are having the same struggles. You guys make incredible suggestions, and also it is such an accountability thing because I have really bad ADHD. I have always struggled to finish things, to complete goals, to turn things in on time. That is like a lifelong struggle. And having the accountability of like being on a live stream, filming it, and like sharing it with you guys and being like, I have to sit down and finish this because I have already started a video and I have to share it with you. I don't feel like pressure to finish things with you guys, but I do feel motivated, and I feel like, oh, someone's gonna say something or someone's gonna ask, or getting videos out regularly and like doing all that keeps me on track. And I kind of stopped doing that. I somehow got behind in my posting, and then I was like posting things so far behind. There was no urgency to get stuff done because I wasn't going to be posting it anytime soon. So that definitely slowed me down. Another thing that really got in my way is I stopped making small goals like the 250 words like this, and I just stopped making little tiny goals. I stopped celebrating wins, and tying this in with the other big thing is I let like negative self-talk really get in the way of finishing my book and meeting these goals. This is my little Kanban board up here. Like I was supposed to get to, this one is 75,000 words, and because I wasn't getting to 75,000 words, there was nothing to celebrate. My brain was like, but we're not done with that, or we had to restart it, or we had to change something. And instead of being like, you're accomplishing these things, celebrate that, I was like, you're not accomplishing what you thought you'd accomplish, so therefore you've accomplished nothing. You've done nothing right. So I don't know, I got really negative. I think also with a lot of the health things going on, I just was in a negative headspace, a sad headspace, a tired headspace, and I kind of like lost the fun of it all because really just nothing was fun for a couple months. feeling sick all the time or having a lot of health problems suddenly was just not, it didn't feel fun. And I feel like I kind of lost interest in things, including writing. And like, yeah, it was sad. But we're moving past that, and it takes a lot of like mental health conversations with my counselor and just different people to be like, it's okay to be sad that like things are changing. They're not the way you want them to be. But then being okay with that and like moving past that and being excited about where you are now and how things are going. So that was kind of like a little journey I had to go through, and it definitely slowed my progress. But I feel like there's just like times in life where you can go like full speed, like pedal to the metal kind of vibes, and then there's times where you need to just like prioritize rest and small progress. Sometimes you just don't have the energy to focus on goals and dreams when you're really not doing well, and that's okay. You could take a break. All of your dreams and goals will still be waiting for you when you feel a bit better and you're in a better spot. So here we are. It's July. I feel a lot better. I'm in a much better spot and I'm ready to pick up my goals again and make progress towards them. So what am I gonna do about it from here on out? How am I going to make the second half of 2025 better than the first? Number one is that I restarted my project. I literally opened up a new document in Scrivener and I completely like started it from zero. I have reset the project and feel really motivated about it, which is good. I think I just needed a blank slate for the moment. My goal is to spend the next month completely focused on like restarting this project. And that doesn't mean I'm like rewriting everything, but I am starting completely from scratch and then putting in a lot of things that worked and adding things that didn't. I completely replotted everything with this whole new like mixture of the other couples stories and just like how we're gonna work all of that in. But there's a whole new system in place, a whole new reset for this. The goal for the rest of the year will be to lean into my personality a bit more and to stop trying to make so many like rules about how this needs to be done. And one of the things I've realized is I used to really let myself like get in the flow state of writing and just kind of obsess over things, and it was so fun and I really enjoyed it. And then now I have such like small goals where I kind of get like, oh, I don't want to burn myself out. I think with the health problems I got nervous that like if I worked on it for too long I would feel like sick afterwards, or I feel like I shouldn't push myself at all. And that has been the wrong approach, as in I would sometimes stop myself while writing and be like, well, you did like 1,000, 2,000 words, like that's good enough for now. Like you should go do something else. You should take a break. You should something. And I feel like there's seasons where that's correct, but I'm not burnt out on writing. I think like sometimes I'm burnt out on life. Like there's just like too many dishes in the sink. There's too much this. And I think I've been prioritizing trying to make sure that like everything else in life is going really great and just like letting my writing be this little tiny chunk of time like occasionally. And it's not going to get the book done. I know that I will feel so accomplished when it is completely done. And part of the like mental load that it's taking up, that it's just sitting there not done. And I think there's a part of me that's like afraid that I can never finish a book and that I can never like get it published and like do all these things. So I think it's really important for me to get to a place where I just kind of do it, and there's just only so long you can keep tinkering with things. And like, yes, I was given like a lot of advice that I think was very helpful and some feedback. And so I'm going to let myself have this one last time to kind of like rework things and get it done. But I'm going to try to do it in a kind of like a fever dream writing experience rather than trying to do a tiny bit every day. I am going to try to make it my top goal, like my top everything that I'm doing right now. I won't like do it at the expense of my health, obviously, but like I just think it's like a new perspective on this. And then I'm going to be using a lot of things that have worked in the past, like live streams, my gemstones, and I'm going to be creating a very strict schedule using Notion, which I've used in the past, and I'm going to be making sure that there are significant chunks of time throughout the week that I'm doing writing. So instead of just hour or two here or there, I'm going to be blocking off large chunks of time and trying to do a lot of challenges with you guys, hopefully on YouTube, of very large word count days and fun things like that to try to just basically push for 1 month to completely finish this draft and have a lot of feedback and editor feedback and all that kind of stuff so that I can get a release date, because originally I did have one kind of lined up, but I'm not sure anymore if that one will work. But I'm going to try for a release date around that time. I'm not gonna say it just because I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm going to give one final push the end of the summer here and have it done by fall, have this draft done by fall, hopefully feel very accomplished. So I'm going to start doing everything that I used to do and bring it all back because it was working. And I think right now I've been writing somewhere between like 1,000 to 3,000 words a month. And I think there was even a month I wrote 0 words, at least in this project. And I'm also going to be holding off for the next month on working on any other projects, any other things. So starting nothing new and just being really focused on this. So that is how I plan to get back on track for the rest of 2025. So my goals for Q3 are to write 80,000 words, which is huge. A lot of those words are going to be repurposed words and just going through and making it continuous. So I think right now I'm at 3,000 of the 80,000 when we're starting this, and we're gonna get 1 month basically till September, very beginning of September. So it's a smidge over a month, but it's like 4 or 5 weeks to just completely dive into this project and rip off the band-aid and just call it done by the end of it. And in a good way, not in a like I hate this and I don't want to be doing this kind of thing, but in a just we're gonna obsess over it for a month and then we're gonna take a break. So I set some really big goals for 2025 and they really didn't go as planned, but we're making a new plan for the rest of 2025. And I'm hoping when I sit down and have this conversation with you guys in December that I'm just so proud of like what I've done and the work that I've done. And hopefully we have a published book or a very close to published book, and we have new books that have been written and just so many things. I'm hoping the goal is to have the end of the year just be so proud of like all the work that I've done and like all the obstacles I've overcome of like health issues and plans being changed and just life being crazy. I think I can do it, and I'm excited to like share it with you guys a little more live posting rather than getting behind so much. So if you guys are restarting any goals for the end of 2025, let me know in the comments so we can cheer each other on, and then we can check back here in December and see how we did. And hopefully we did great, and even if we didn't finish them, we definitely tried. So I will update you guys in my next video how I restarted this whole project and kind of replotting and the whole deal with that. I already filmed it. I have been doing so much plotting. My brain is just like obsessed with plotting right now. We watched the F1 movie a little while ago, and I was so into like Save the Cat plotting that I was like, every time they hit a beat, I was like, oh, there it is. Like it was just so on like point with all of the beat sheet stuff. So I feel like everything I've been watching or reading lately, I can see, wow, that's a great opening image. Like just so many different things. My head is obsessed with all of the outlining and the React structure stuff going on. And so I will see you in that video and we can talk about all of the plotting and kind of where I went with all of that and why I decided to restart the project in a new blank document and just replot the whole thing and make sure I really like it. So yeah, I'll see you in that video, and I hope your writing goes wonderful. I'll see you then. Bye!